Good evening, students. Welcome to our YouTube channel. This is Python video lesson number 10. In previous lessons, for the past 3 to 4 lessons, we studied about control structures or control statement. We finished control statements. 3 types of control statements are there: selective, or branching, or alternative. Under this, if, simple if means simple if else, if else. Next, we studied iterative or repetitive statements. Under these two statements are there. One is while, another one is for. That also we studied. Third category is jump statement. Under these three statements are there. One is break, continue. Third one is pause. These are the statements we studied in the past previous 2 to 3 lessons. Now we will see some of the example program which explains these control structures. First we will see if else. Our aim is I like to find out biggest of three numbers. First I will write the procedure, then we can go for the program. Biggest of three numbers. Assume we are having three numbers A, B, C. That is assigned with 10, 20, 30. Out of these three numbers, how we can find which one is biggest? So first consider A is bigger. I am assigning here 100. Okay, so we have to apply two conditions here. That means A should be bigger than B. Then it is considered A is bigger than B. Once again, we have to check A with C also. So A should be checked with B as well as checked with C. Then only we can time it as A is biggest. How? Bracket A is greater than B. This is one condition. And A should be also greater than C. Then only we can consider A is biggest. So already we know very well usage of AND operator. This is a logical operator. Both sides of the logical operator should be one relational expression. This condition also should be true. This also should be true. Then only AND gives true. Here assume 100 is there. 100 is greater than 20. It is true. 100 greater than 30. It is also true. In this case, this whole thing gives true. Then A is biggest will be displayed. What will happen? If B is biggest, assume B is assigned with 200. Now we have to compare B is greater than A. Along with B should be also compared with C. Okay, so if both conditions are true, then only we can consider B is true. Print B is biggest. Now compare 100, 230. A is 100. 100 greater than 20. Condition true. Okay. 100 greater than 200. Condition is false. 100 greater than 30. This is true. This condition false. This condition true. And gives false. So A is biggest will not execute. What about this one? B is 200. 200 is greater than 100. It is true. What about this? 200 greater than 30. It is also true. So both conditions are true. Then AND gives true. B is biggest. It will. See here we have to put elif. Okay, the condition is false. It will execute. What happens if both are false? No need to check C with A and B. So it is considered C is biggest. If A is not biggest, B is not biggest, then it is assumed C is biggest. C is biggest. We can check it out. Consider C is assigned with 300. Here A is 100, B is 200, C is 300. 100 greater than 200. It is false. 100 greater than 300. It is also false. False and false. This is false. Then this condition will be evaluated. 200 greater than 100. It is true. 200 greater than 300. It is false. Again, this condition becomes false. It comes here. If all the condition is false, else block will be executed. C is biggest. So we will get C. So whatever will be the value, we will get the biggest of the three numbers. This is the usage of if, if, else. Now I will write the same program to find biggest of the three numbers. Before finding biggest of three numbers, we can write one more program, PRG, to find bigger of two numbers. Then you can easily understand. Bigger of two numbers. PRG to explain. Simple, sorry. If else. If else means we are having one condition, one if block, one else block. Very simple. So here we have to get two numbers. First we have to get two numbers. A comma B equal to int of input, enter first value, comma int input, enter second value. So first value will be assigned to A, second value will be assigned to B. Okay, now I have to check one condition is enough since we are going to use if else only. Okay, here print A is bigger. Otherwise, if the condition is false, print B is bigger. Very simple. That's all. So just consider while running the program, I am giving 10 and 20. Then 10 will be assigned to A, 20 will be assigned to B. So 10 is greater than 20. This condition is false. This block will not execute. This block will execute. That is, we will get 20 is bigger. You will see here. Enter first value, I am assigning 10. Enter second value, I am giving 20. That 10 will be assigned to A, 20 will be assigned to B. Then see 20 is bigger. Okay, now I like to assign A with 100, B with 20. You will see what will the output. 100, B with 20. In this case, A is assigned with 100, B is assigned with 20. 100 greater than 20. Condition is true. Then the statement which follows the if should execute. That is, A is 100. 100 is bigger. This statement will not execute. The else block will not execute. See, 100 is bigger. Okay, whatever number you are giving assigned to A and B, the bigger of two number will be displayed. Same thing. biggest of three numbers. So we need one more number here, A, B, C, comma, int, input, enter third value. So we have to get three numbers here. So assume if A is greater than B, if the condition is true, we can consider A is bigger than B. But we are not sure about either A is bigger than C or not. So we got to put and. A is greater than C. If both conditions are true, and gives true. If and gives true, it is considered A is biggest of three. Here we can have put, but if the condition is false, it is assumed biggest should be other than A. That means it may be B or C. Now we have to compare B or C. L if. Again we have to compare B now. B is greater than A and B is greater than C. If both conditions are true, it is considered B is biggest among these three. Otherwise, B is biggest than A and C. Now, you should be right. A is not biggest, B is not biggest. Then biggest should be, there is no other way, it should be C is biggest. That's all, very simple. So here we are getting three numbers, A, B, C. First, A is compared with B and A is compared with C. If both conditions are true, and gives true, then A is biggest. If and gives false, A is not biggest. Okay, now we have to check it up, B and C. Again, it will be there. If both conditions are true, B is biggest among these three, then B is biggest. If this condition also false, already A is not biggest, B is also not biggest. There is no other way. The biggest should be C. So we consider C is biggest. We can save it. We will see. First, I like to give 10, 20, 30. Here, 10 will be assigned to A, 20 will be assigned to B, 30 will be assigned to C. 10 is greater than 20. It is false. 10 is greater than 30. It is also false. So, and gives false. This statement will not execute. It comes here. Again, 20 is greater than 10. It is true. 20 greater than 30, it is false. So one true, one false. Again, this and gives false. So both conditions are false. In this case, all the conditions are false, else statement will execute. We will get C is biggest. We will get output as a 30 is biggest. C is assigned with 30. Okay, 30 is biggest. Now we will see. I'm assigning 100 for A, 20 for B, 30 for C. So in this case, 100 is biggest. How we will see here? 100 greater than 20, it is true. 100 greater than 30, it is also true. Both sides are true. 100 gives true. So A is biggest will execute. It will not execute. It will not execute. Now I will give A with 100, B with 200, C with 30. So 200 is biggest. How you will see here? Here A is 100. 100 greater than 200 false. Here 100 greater than 30, it is true. So one side true, one side false, and it gives false. It will not exist. It comes here. 200 is greater than 100. It is true. 200 greater than 30. It is also true. So both sides are true, and it gives true. Then this whole condition becomes true. Then B is big. It will execute. Here 200 is biggest. It will not execute. This is the usage of if, else. Okay. Next we will study Fibonacci series. It's also very simple. program to print Fibonacci series up to n times. First, we should know what you mean by Fibonacci series. Previous two numbers should be added to produce third number. That's all. So third number is the addition of the previous two numbers. First, we should do 0. We have to assign. 1, we have to assign. These two numbers are kept as it is. This is the first number. This is the second number always. So first two numbers of the Fibonacci series should be 0 and 1. So we have to add these two numbers. So 0 plus 1 will get 1. That is the third number. Then this is the first number. This is the two number. Previous two numbers added. Previously these two numbers should be added to produce this number. Now these two numbers should be added. Now 1 plus 1, 2. Then previous two number 1 plus 2, 3 will come. These two numbers should be added. Then we'll get 5. Likewise we'll go. 3 plus 8, 8. This is a Fibonacci series. What do you mean by up to n times? If you want to print Fibonacci series up to 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to stop it here itself. That's all. Okay? 5 numbers. We need only 5 numbers. If you want to print up to 8 numbers, Fibonacci series up to 8 numbers. Already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 plus 3 will get 5. Then 3 plus 5, 8. Then 5 plus 8, 13. We'll count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have to stop it. That is the usage of print Fibonacci series up to n times. If it is up to 10 times, these two should be added. So 8 plus 13, it will be 21. Then these two should be added. 34. It should be like this. Okay. So now we will see what is the procedure to print this Fibonacci series up to n number of times. First, we have to get the n number of times from the user through the input number. So first n equal to input enter value for n. So here, assume n is assigned with 5. N is assigned with 5. So we need 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. That's all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need output like this 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. That's all. Out of these 5 numbers, 0, 1 are first number as well as second number. We can directly print it here. A should be comma B equal to 0, comma 1. So both are directly assigned. So we can print out here. Print A, comma B. That's all. So output will be 0, 1. Here output will be 0, 1 will be displayed. Okay. Now we like to add these two numbers to produce third number. To produce third number. Again, A will be assigned to 1. B will be assigned to new number. And then this process should be continued until n number of times. That means 5 times. Okay. So we need 5 numbers. Here we have one for loop. For I in range 3, n plus 1. Why you are putting here 3? Already 2 numbers are printed. Already 2 numbers are printed. Now we need third number, fourth number, fifth number. That's all. N contains 5. So n plus 1 is 6. So n stop value will be stop n minus 1. So that is why we can have 3, 4, 5 only we need. We need only 3 numbers. Already 2 numbers are printed here, 0, 1. Okay. Now we have to find out third number, that A plus B. Here we like to print C. Now what will you see value? Already A contains 0, B contains 1. 0 plus 1, 1. 1 will be assigned to C. Now C will be 1. So 3 numbers are over. 0, 1, again 1 will be over. Then A equal to B, B equal to C. A equal to B, B equal to C. Now new value will be available. Already A contains 0. It is replaced by number 1. B contains number 1. It is replaced by C. Now C contains what value? Number 1. Okay. Now A contains 1, B contains 1. Okay. Now again the loop will be assigned. Now I will be assigned with 4. I will be assigned with 4. Here C is there. C equal to A plus B. Now A contains 1. B also contains 1. 1 plus 1, 2. 2 will be assigned to C. Once again, you get 2. See here 0, 1, 1, 2. 4 numbers are over. Then A will be assigned to B. Now B contains 1. Okay, that value will be assigned to A. C contains 2. 2 will be assigned to B. A contains 1. B contains 2. Again it comes here. So now I is 4. Sorry, I is 5. C equal to 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2 means 3. 3 will be assigned to C. Now C is 3. Now A will be assigned with B. B is 2. 2 will be assigned to A. Then B is assigned with C. Now C is 3. 3 will be assigned to B. Now A will be 2. B will be 3. It goes here. I is now 5. Okay. I'm checking already 5 is over. Now I becomes 6. 6 is out of range. It comes out. That's all. So we are getting 5 numbers 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. If you want to print Fibonacci series up to 8 times, again it will come there like this. After 5, it becomes A, it becomes B. We will get C. Then it becomes A, it becomes B. Then we'll get 8. Like this it go ahead. Okay. At one stage, it becomes A, it becomes B. We'll get 13. Now we'll get 8 number of times. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you want one more thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in that sum. Okay. It depends upon the number of the time you are giving. This is the procedure for to print Fibonacci series up to n times. Now I will write one program to explain the Fibonacci series. So first we have to get value for n. N equal to int input enter value for n. Now we have to assign value for a and b. A comma b equal to 0 comma 1. So first two numbers are over. A is assigned with 0, b is assigned with 1. Now we have to print it here. A comma b. Here separate will be slash t. End also slash t. So if everything will be in single line. All the values will be single line. Okay, now we need one for loop. For I in range of, since already two numbers are already printed, A, B is printed, we start with C. Then n plus 1. Okay, now we have to add, we have to find out value for third number, that is C equal to A plus B. Here print C. Here print C. N will be slash T. Okay, now A is assigned with B, B is assigned with C. That's all. So already A is assigned with 0, B is assigned with 1. Here output will be 0 and 1. First two numbers are over. Here actually n is assigned with number 5. So 3 to 5. 3 to 5. C is assigned with 0 plus 1. Then first here C will be number 1. Okay, 3 numbers are over. Now A is assigned with B. Now B is number 1. 1 is assigned with A. Now B is assigned with C. C is 1. So A is 1, B is 1. I will be assigned to number 4. 1 plus 1, C becomes 2. Now C becomes 2. Okay, 4 numbers are over. Again A is assigned with B. B is assigned is now B is 1. A will be 1. C is 2. B is assigned with 2. Now A is 1, B is 2. It goes for I. Now I is assigned with 5. So 1 plus 2, that means C contains 3. 3 will be displayed here. And then A is assigned with 2, B is assigned with 3, it goes here. I assigned with 6, it is out of the loop, it comes out. Okay, now we will see the program, output of the program. So enter value for n. First I like to type number 5 number. I mean my output should be 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. See it here, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, it's good. Similarly, I like to print up to n numbers, that is 8 numbers. 8. I like output 8 numbers. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. Okay, it's working very well. So whatever number you want, you can give it. We can check it up by giving 10 numbers. See it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so likewise, it is called as a Fibonacci series with the help of for loop. Now we will see, we like to find out the given number is palindrome or not. What do you mean by palindrome? For example, I will explain you just a minute. So program to check the given number is palindrome or not. Here we have to get one number. We have to get one number. If the number is palindrome or not. First, 121. Assume 121 is a one number. If you read from the left hand side, that is 121. Okay. If you read from the right hand side, that is 121. Both gives 121. That is, it is called as a palindrome. What about 123? If you read from 123, if you read from right hand side, 321 is not a palindrome. The palindrome number is nothing but if you read from left hand side as well as right hand side, it gives the same value. That is palindrome. Similarly, 1221 is palindrome. So 1201. If you read from right hand side, again 1221 is palindrome. Now we will see the procedure to find given number is palindrome or not. First, as usual, we get to one number. For example, I am assigning here n equal to 123 or 121. We can get it. Solve it very well. This is a palindrome. So here, first we have to extract the last digit. First, we have to extract the last digit. That digit becomes a first digit for the another number. So here we need one number. Temp equal to, we can assign it as a. Temp equal to a. At last we have to check. We have to reverse this number. Then we have to check. Initially we assigned one more variable temp. A is assigned with the temp. Now A contains 121. B also contains 121. Okay. Here we need one more variable here. RA. RA means reverse of A. It is assigned with 0. Initially it does not contain any value. It is assigned with 0. Okay. Now RA should be multiplied by 10. Then this RA temp modulus of 10. Then temp should be divided by, that is integer division or floor division 10. Okay. Assume we need number 1 from the last digit. number 1. That one should be assigned to RA as a first number. Temp contains A. Now temp is 121. Okay, no problem. Here RA star equal to 10. RA is already 0. 0 multiplied by 10, 0. RA will be assigned with again 0. RA plus equal to temp. This is modulus of 10. Now temp contains 121. 121 divided by 10. So remainder will be number 1. 1 will be added with the RA. That is plus equal. Whatever value available previously in RA will be added with number 1. That new value will be assigned to RA. Previously RA contains 0. So 0 plus 1, 1. 1 will be assigned to RA. So last digit of the temp is assigned as a first digit of RA. That's okay. Now we need second digit. We need second digit. Okay. How we can set this second digit? We have to divide by 10 here. Now assume 10 is 121. That is divided by 10. So it becomes 12.1. Since it is a floor division or integer division, decimal place will be skipped. Then only 12. Now 12 will be assigned to temp. Now 12 contains temp. RA contains 1. This work should be executed until temp becomes 0. Until temp is 0. Now assume temp is 12. After this statement, temp is 12. It comes here. Temp is not equal to 0. Still condition true. RA star equal to 10. RA contains number 1. 1 multiplied by 10, 10. Now RA contains 10. Now temp is 12. 12 modulus 10. Okay. That means 12 divided by 10. It will be 1.2. Sorry. It gives modulus gives remainder. 10 ones are 10. Remainder will be 2. 2 plus previous value available in RA. Previously RA contains 10. 10 plus 2, 12. Okay. 12 will be assigned to here. Now RA contains 12. Now temp floor division by 10. Temp is 12. 12 divided by 10. We will get number 1. We will get number 1. Now RA contains 12. Temp contains 1. It go here. 1 is not equal to 0. Still condition is true. RA multiplied by 10. Initially RA 12. 12 multiplied by 10, 120. Now RA contains 120. RA plus equal to temp. Now temp contains 1. 1 modulus 10. So remainder is 1. 1 will be added to here. Previously RA contains 120. 120 plus 1, 121. Here temp is there. Temp now contains number 1. So it will be divided by 10. So it will becomes 0. So it comes here. 0 is not equal to 0. Condition by it comes out of that. Now RA contains 121. Temp is 0. Initially A is assigned with 121. So RA is 121. A also 121. Now we have to check it out. If A equal to RA, print A is palindrome. That's all. What will happen, sir, if it is contained 123? By reversing, RA will be 321. So here A is 123, RA will be 321. This condition becomes false. Then else print A is not palindrome. So like this we get display. Okay. So first we have to multiply the by 10. Then temp should be modulus by 10. The resultant of the modulus should be assigned to RA. Again, temp should be divided by 10. This process continues until the temp becomes 0. Now I will write the one program to check given number is palindrome or not. First we have to get one number. Now A contains 121 or 120, whatever number. That number should be assigned to temp. So we are to declare one more variable, that is reverse A, RA. Now while temp is not equal to 0. Now RA should be multiplied by 10. Then RA plus equal to temp. Okay, modulus 10. Then temp should be 4 division by 10. That's very simple. At last, temp will be 0. RA will be reverse of A. If A equal to RA, A is palindrome. Else, print. A is not palindrome. That's all. We'll check it up. Assume A is assigned with 121. Now temp contains A equal to 121. Temp also 121. Here RA is 0. RA equal to 0. Here temp is not equal to 0. RA star equal to 10. Now RA is 0. Now RA becomes again 0. 0 multiplied by 10. Here RA plus equal to temp modulus of 10. So 1 will be extracted from here. This 1 will be added with RA. RA is already 0. Now RA contains 1. Here temp 4 division by 10. Then temp becomes 12. Okay. Again it goes here. Temp is 12. 12 is not equal to 0. Once the condition is true, then RA star equal to 10. Already RA is 1. Now RA becomes 10. Okay. Now RA plus star temp equal to plus equal temp modulus 10. Now temp is 12. Modulus temp is 2 will come. 2 will be added to here. Then RA becomes 12. Then temp 4 modulus of 10. This 1 will be removed. 2 will be removed. Now temp contains number 1. Now 1 is not equal to 0. Again condition true. RA star equal to 10. It becomes 120. Initially, previously RA contains 12. It becomes 120. RA plus equal to temp modulus of 1. That means 1 modulus of 10. It gives number 1. That 1 will be added to RA. It becomes 121. Now temp is 1. 1 floor division 10. It becomes 0. Again it goes here. 0 not equal to 0. Condition false. It comes out of the room. Now A contains 121. RA contains 121. So both are 121 equal to 121. Condition becomes true. Then A is palindrome. It will not execute. We will save it. We will see the output. Here I am giving number 121. See, 121 is a palindrome. Similarly, I like to give one more value, 123. Okay, 123 is not a palindrome. 121 double equal to 321. So this condition is false. So it will execute. 123 is not a palindrome. Okay, this is a usage of while loop. So today I stopped here itself. In this lesson, we studied about 3 programs. One is to find out biggest of 3 numbers using if, elif, else statement. And then we studied print Fibonacci series up to n times using one loop statements. Next, we studied about to check the given number is palindrome or not using loop statements. Okay, now you know very well how to use control structures as well as in which situations or where we use which control statements. Simple if else, if elif ladder, for loop, while loop, then break, continue, and then pause. These are the control statements. Today I stopped here itself. In next lesson, we will study little bit more. Until then, thank you students. Bye bye.